The 2017 NBA draft is one of the most odd drafts of the past decade. No, it's not a bad draft. No, it's not the greatest draft. It's just that 3 years later, things panned out a little weird to me. Kinda weird, like when you out at the grocery store and you run into your teacher with your parents and you know your grades are kinda terrible. Or kind of weird like when that scene comes on and you know what scene I'm talking about and you're watching a movie with your parents. Or kind of weird like that odd puberty stage for a lot of my young men. You know that stage when you're growing hair down there and you don't know if you should cut it or if you should trim it or you don't even know how to go about it. Well, luckily, thanks to my good friends over at Manscaped, I have the perfect solution for you. Now, their products are the absolute best for trimming both above the belt and most definitely below the belt, where things can get a little bit scary. My personal favorite is their new and improved Lawnmower 3.0 electric trimmer. Now, I previously used the 2.0, and trust me, this one is a lot better. Their newest model contains a stronger 7,000 RPM motor for, a much easier trim, an extended battery life for up to 90 minutes per charge, and my personal favorite feature, an LED light, so you can see what's really going on down there. This and a bunch more can be found in their new Perfect Package 3.0. This gives you a plethora of products designed to keep you your absolute freshest in an area we can probably all use a little bit of work in. If you are interested in really this can't miss offer, click my link below and use my personal code SWISH20 for 20% off of your first order. Plus they give you free shipping. Huge shout out to my friends at Manscaped for making this video possible. Now let's talk about this draft.
Dennis called you a mentor, and what did you see from Dennis Smith tonight?
The Knicks passed on a really good one, and Dallas got the diamond in the rough. He should be a Knick. It's gonna make some headlines, but he should be a Knick. But Dallas is definitely. I know they're excited that he didn't go there. So he's an unbelievable talent, athleticism. He's very poised to be his age. Can shoot the ball, can penetrate. He's going to only get better and better with the opportunity that he's given here to play. So Dallas got a good one. I've been known now. I've been with him for so long now, so I've been known as to how his talent level.
The Knicks just missing out on big players and big draft picks. That's almost been like a theme for the past decade. They were one pick away from having Stephen Curry, and Steph wanted to go there. They missed out on Zion. Knicks fans were mad about the Porzingis pick. They missed out on KD and Kyrie. Like, this has been an ongoing theme. And in the 2017 draft, it kind of seemed like the trend was continuing. Dennis Smith Jr., he was for sure supposed to be the more polished, sure thing pick. He dominated at NC State. He drew comparisons to Russell Westbrook. He even had J. Cole vouching for him, LeBron. Like, he was more established. Frank Ntilikina, who they picked one pick over Dennis Smith, and LeBron even had like a little encounter that I'm pretty sure stemmed from LeBron's comments. LeBron basically disrespected Frank. But now, it's crazy how life works sometimes, ain't it? Fast forward 2 years later, Dennis Smith Jr. is traded to the Knicks in a package including Porzingis, and now the two are teammates. And as coincidental as this is, earlier this season, they finally had their guy Dennis Smith Jr., the guy that was supposed to be a Knick, right? Well, look at this.
Defender. And the chant of "We want Frank" is starting here at the Garden. That's tough for a young man to hear from the home crowd. He is obviously struggling. He has not been able to get in rhythm since the back injury.
I don't really understand New York basketball anymore. One of the biggest, more surprising moves of the 2017 draft was the Timberwolves basically trading Zach LaVine, Chris Dunn, and a pick that turned out to be Lauri Markkanen for Jimmy Butler. This was a move that, to me, came out of nowhere, but at the end of the day, we all understood it. Jimmy Butler was looking for a fresh start to actually compete, and he did have his old coach Tom Thibodeau there, so it made sense. Meanwhile, Chicago seemed to land gold because they damn near got an all-star with Zach LaVine and Chris Dunn and a pretty solid pick with Lauri Markkanen. But when you fast forward and look at it 3 years later, The Minnesota Timberwolves basically gave up a very productive Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, who possibly could have been deadly with Cat, for just 69 games of Jimmy Butler. And really, it was only 59 games because the first 10 games of last season, Jimmy Butler was on pout mode. He did not want to be there. If this terrible trade never happened, right now they could have a possible lineup looking like this. Obviously, like everything, this is 2020 hindsight, and I kind of understand it. Zach LaVine was coming off a torn ACL, so I guess, they didn't know what was going to happen, but damn, it looked bad now. Markelle Fultz was the 2017 number 1 pick, and deservingly so. At the University of Washington, this man was an absolute animal, and we really had no reason to think that it wouldn't translate. We didn't know about a broken shot. We didn't know about a drained, kind of weird shoulder situation. Like, we thought he would be the next star point guard. I seen this in my comments, but it was so true. Kind of what we're seeing out of Ja Morant early is really what we expected out of Markelle. That raw, just go-get-it talent that's just going to translate perfectly. But I don't know if anybody ever noticed this, but to me, Markelle never felt like the number 1 pick. Not saying he didn't feel like it because he wasn't good enough. It's just that he got completely overshadowed multiple times. Try to take your mind back to 2017. Who was the main topic of that draft?
You think he could average 40, 50 a game if he wanted to?
Easy.
Wow.
So what did this inevitably do? This took the pressure off of Markelle early. Even when he was missing games, it just went under the radar because we were all glued to Lonzo Ball. Also, you know what else kind of oddly slid under the radar? The number 1 pick of the 2017 draft didn't win Rookie of the Year. In fact, he lost it to his teammate, the number 1 pick of the 2016 NBA draft, Ben Simmons. Markelle got drafted as a point guard, basically a point guard who can use his length and his athleticism to score at will. That's what he did at Washington, and that's why he was so high on everybody's board. But when Ben Simmons came back and, he was the obvious better pick early, he was LeBron-like, it put Markelle in a very awkward situation. You basically had 2 number 1 pick point guards. Ben Simmons handled the ball the majority of the time. Ben Simmons also relied heavily on JJ Redick playing that 2. Markelle's too small to play the forward. So where was the room for Markelle? Also, the head coach was Brett Brown. Not saying he's a terrible coach, but bro, I can't stand this man's lineups. Like, he puts together some of the worst rotations, so he didn't know what the hell to do with Markelle. You can tell, they had to play him because he was such a big investment, but they just had no idea how to work him in. As we all know now, Markelle plays for Orlando, and he's kind of figuring it out. He's still young as hell, but even if he never got injured, he got drafted into one of the worst possible situations. And this brings me to Lonzo Ball. To me, the real number 1 pick, because he was the main attraction. When he got drafted to LA, Magic Johnson was head over heels over this dude. Like, he traded away my favorite player, D'Angelo Russell, and basically kicked him on the ass in the way out. He also started to become like a mini LeVar. Like, he was saying some crazy stuff. He's going to completely change the culture. He's a one-in-a-generation type talent. Don't break all my records. He just got caught up into all that hype. And now, if you look at it closely 3 years later, Lonzo is basically playing beside the player who's actually living up to the exact same hype he never matched. This isn't saying Lonzo is a bust or he's not a good player, but let's be honest, he did not live up to that hype. And if you look at how LeVar was hyping this man up, tell me he wasn't describing Zion to the T. They said he was going to completely change the culture. Zion has obviously done that in New Orleans. They said he was going to put asses in the seat. The NBA is busting their ass every single day to make sure Zion is the main attraction. They said he was going to at least make the 8th seed in the West. If Zion played the full season, I guarantee you he would have at least been the 6th seed. To me, everything LeVar actually wanted out of Lonzo is kind of exactly what Zion is really doing. And lastly, the real number 1 pick, Jason Tatum. It's kind of crazy, but if Philly never drafted Markelle and they took Tatum instead, imagine how deadly their lineup could be. Me personally, I don't think Ben Simmons and Joel Embiid, I don't think they're a good match. But one of the main reasons I know Philly is hesitant to move Joel Embiid, because, you know, Joel is going to be the one that has to leave. He's one of their few picks that they actually nail. So they don't want to just give that up. If they actually drafted Jason Tatum, who always fit a lot better, they could actually build around Tatum and Ben Simmons, similar to what Chris Middleton and Giannis has. Like, that would be lethal. This would allow Ben Simmons to develop a lot more smooth. It will be a lot more space, and they could actually have something just like Milwaukee. Imagine the trade value they could possibly get from Joel Embiid. Like, that would be crazy, and that would be a scary team to me. But right now they're kind of stuck because they basically wasted a pick with Markelle Fultz. But that's the video, guys. If you guys like the video, make sure you guys drop a like. I think the first 2 picks in this draft were completely wasted. I want to know what you guys feel about that in the comments. Make sure you guys follow my Twitter, my IG, add me on Snap, do all that great stuff, guys. And until next time, as always, stay tuned.